In this video, we're going to unbox and give a review of this upright Black & Decker air conditioning. This is the exact same unit right here, and we've had this for about a year now, and it's been working great air conditioning the room, but there is some pros and cons. The setup on this machine is really pretty simple and pretty fast. This ring right here just goes onto the back, and there's tabs that it slides onto. You just push it on and then twist, and that locks in place. This is a expandable tube, so you can really form it and fit it to wherever you need it to go. And it can be a little bit tricky to get it fit inside of this ring. And sort of what you have to do is thread it in place. So you kind of put it in here. You have a starting thread right there. And that's what you want to try to get hooked on one of them. And then now as we spin it in, this should start getting tighter and tighter. And just start locking into this ring. The other end screws on the same way. Pop this extender in place. There's a plastic piece here that goes in the window, and it's like a telescoping effect where you slide to one end and the other. It comes with this plastic pin right here. It's just taped in place. You're gonna get it to fit the best you can into the window. There's just a little bit of wobble, and if we wanted to, you could either use some foam on the edges or something to seal it. I'm just gonna pop that pin in, and I'm gonna use the tape that it came with to hold it in place. Now it's gonna stay without moving back and forth. And this is what's gonna seal whenever you close the window. This comes with lots of foam weather stripping, and what I'm actually gonna do is cut this in half. I'm gonna lay a bead all the way across here, and as the window closes, that's gonna seal. So this is way too fat to put on the top here. Cutting that in half is gonna double the amount of weather stripping we have, and I think we'll even have extra by the end. Because there's a step down right here, if I were to lay a piece of foam over it, there might still be a gap in the window. So I'm gonna take a piece of this foam, lay it right there, measure it, and then I'm gonna cut right there. And when I lay the piece of foam down here, I'll run another one across that, and then everything will be flat. And same to the other side. Now we can set one clear across the top. If you want to, you can even put it around the edge for a little bit of a better seal. We'll slide this plastic piece into the window. Now, like any air conditioner unit, whenever you have the window open a little bit, there's no way to lock the window. If you wanted to keep it closed for security reasons, if you didn't want somebody from the outside to be able to open the window, you'd have to maybe put some wood blocks going from the top to the bottom so you can't open it from the outside. One thing to note is that if you have a sliding window like this, you've got a gap right here where air can flow through, and they do provide the foam to stuff that with. There is a tube that you could hook up to the drain pan on the bottom of the air conditioner if you wanted to collect the water. But within a year of using ours, we haven't had to worry about water overflowing or spilling out of here. What it actually does is the hot air that it's blowing out picks up a lot of that water, and it blows out a really humid mixture of air and water. So you never really have to worry about dumping the water that's in here. One of the big disadvantages of a unit like this is just you can see how much space it's taking up. You've got a pretty long hose back there, which can reach out really far if it's completely stretched out. But a window unit is so much more compact in the window. This itself, it doesn't actually have to sit in the window if your window can't support weight, like if it's a window unit, but this sits on the floor and it takes up a lot of floor space. We'll plug it in. With this flex hose, you can move it around a little bit where you need to, and it'll kind of snap into place. We'll turn it on. It takes about a minute, and then you can really start to feel the cold air coming out. We'll put the included batteries in the remote. The remote can do everything you can do on the control panel, except it actually does a little even more. You can do the air swing, which basically moves fins back and forth and disperses the air a little bit better if you want that. And then there's also a few different modes like sleep and max, which you can also control from the remote. Some of the cons with a floor standing unit like this is that it's a little bit less efficient actually. So you have a little bit different design than a window unit. In a floor standing unit like this, all of your hot components like your compressor, your condenser, things that get really hot are on the inside of this plastic box on the inside of your house. So what it's actually doing is the intake here, it's taking cold air, it's blowing it out, and then the intake on the back is gonna kind of suck some of that air back in, and then you also have the hot components inside of here that are also going to be dispersing heat. Now it has the exhaust right here that's blowing over those components, taking heat out, but you're still going to be losing some heat off the sides, which means this is going to work a little bit harder. On a traditional window unit, all those hot components are on the outside, and then it's just the front part that's on the inside blowing the cold air in. Probably one of the most noticeable cons, though, is just the amount of space something like this takes up. A window unit virtually doesn't take up any space in the actual floor space. You're just in the window. With a floor standing unit like this, it's really taking up a good amount of space. There's not room behind it you can put anything because you have that cord. So it kind of makes you think you just want to put a window unit in every time you need the air conditioning. But if your window can't hold a window unit, this might be your only option. After a year of using one of these, it kind of makes me want, if I could do it over again, maybe to go with a window unit. It's not quite as convenient with a window unit to move it in and out of the window because those are pretty heavy and these are on wheels, but you really save a lot of space and it is a little bit more energy efficient.